आइए मिलते हैं शरनाज पटेल से। गुजारिश रॉकस्टार या ब्लैक याद है, या और भी कितने तमाम किरदार जो बहुत सी फिल्मों, नाटकों और हाँ दूरदर्शन के दिनों के टेलीविजन से उठकर बड़ी ही खामोशी से हमारे जहन पर टंगे हमारे साथ लौट आते रहे हैं। ये उन कलाकारों में से हैं जिनके लिए अदाकारी एक भावना को उभार कर दिखाने में नहीं, बल्कि उस किरदार में घुलकर उसे अनुभव करने में है। शरनाज पटेल के साथ इनकी कला और कहानी का सफर चुनते हैं Between Us. Welcome to the show, Shernaz.
Thank you for having me.
And you're back again in Chandigarh.
Yeah.
आप पिछली बार Love Letters लेके आई थी, right?
Love Letters, we've come twice. We've come with a play called Class of '84, and then I think in 2005 or 6, I'm trying to remember, we came with a play called Molly Sweeney.
Okay.
I think that was my last visit. Yeah. So I'm coming here after quite a few years, actually.
यहाँ की audience कैसी लगती है आपको?
Anywhere I go, I always say that Chandigarh is my favorite audience. And I'm telling you this because of the play Molly Sweeney. Molly Sweeney was a 2.5-hour play, and all we did was sit on 3 chairs and talked. It's just a monologue. 2.5 hours. And Tagore Auditorium was silent for 2.5 hours listening to us. Yeah. I was really overwhelmed because we were so scared of doing the play in a big theatre like Tagore. But that's when I just said that this is my favorite audience.
And across India, I mean, we've talked about Chandigarh. Otherwise, and how's Mumbai? How receptive is Mumbai to English theatre, which you mainly do?
Yeah.
And how receptive is the rest of the country? I mean,
see, Mumbai has the biggest audience base. So like a play like ours, like Class of '84, has done over 200 performances, and it's an English play. So if we come to Chandigarh, you can do 1 show, maximum 2 shows. So it's the repeat value or the size of the audience is maximum in Bombay. Yes. But in terms of response, wherever we have gone, we've been, touch wood, quite lucky, whether it's Delhi or Bangalore or Chennai or Coimbatore, Cochin, Jaipur, in fact, with the Love Letters, we did Ludhiana, Amritsar, Jalandhar. So it was phenomenal wherever we went, So the desire, and according to me, English now, people say English theatre. Arey yaar, sab log English bolte hain. It's more and more our language. You look at any hoarding, even for a Bollywood film, is in English. So it's an Indian language.
But आसान है इसे sell करना, maybe, between a play done by an equally reputed director, which is in Hindi, and another play like you, Rahul Daguna and Rajat Kapoor. What chances that
English is bigger?
Yeah?
Yeah, because English mein pata nahi kyun the corporate sponsorship is more, maybe elitist something like that, I don't know. And the audience, at least in Bombay, the English theatre is far more commercially successful than Hindi. Marathi though we can't touch. Marathi is a daily theatre. Gujarati also you can't touch. Achha. But if you're to compare English and Hindi, English is definitely more successful than.
But does it fetch you enough money to maybe?
That it doesn't, unfortunately. We still need to do film or whatever, any other thing. A lot of people have 9-to-5 jobs and then do theatre in the evening because you really can't survive.
जी. अच्छा. जब भी आप जब भी आप स्टेज पे आती हैं, and you've been at it for so many years, like at least 28 years.
Yeah.
Every time, what is the experience? What do you feel when you are acting?
You can have good days and bad days.
Yeah.
You will have days when what we call you're in the zone. You're not even aware of the audience. You're just completely, it's like a meditation. Yeah. You're transported. Yeah. Those are the best days. Yeah. Where you don't have to think about what you're doing.
It flows.
It just flows. It comes instinctively, and you may change the way you say a line, or you may change the way you do something, and you don't even know why you did it or how you did it, but you did it and it works. That's, but they don't happen every show. But every show is different. I think that's the joy of theatre versus cinema. It's always different.
And do you also surprise yourself as an actor? I mean, are you in for a shock sometimes, and sometimes scared also? You may black out sometimes, and sometimes you are so shocked at your own performance, or taken by a very pleasant surprise also?
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes you can start a show and you think, yeah, I don't, not in the mood today, you know, just having an off day, and then boom, you walk onto stage and something happened. You walk onto stage and, you know, it's just like, it's just magic. And then you can think you're going to have a great day, and then suddenly you give a very, I don't know, mechanical performance. So it's really unpredictable.
अच्छा, प्ले से कुछ घंटे पहले की आपकी state of mind क्या होती है? Do you mentally try to slip into that mode?
A little bit. It depends on the play. See, now for example, if you're doing a comedy, then you're just happy and, you know, you're just fooling around backstage, and second bell goes, you're in the wing, you come on, you do the show, and everyone's happy.
You mean it sits lightly on your head? Or you consciously let it sit lightly on your head?
Actually, in any performance, I don't really think about it too much. I'm not the kind of actor, even if I'm doing a serious play, I don't like to go and sit in a corner and, you know, I just don't like to do that.
Yeah.
I actually like to be around people. I don't know, before a show, it's very comforting to be around your team. Only I think the last 10 minutes you get into your complete focus and, you know, before you go on. But otherwise, no.
How much does feedback matter, you know, at that point?
It matters a hell of a lot.
Does it happen that आप एक scene की intensity में हैं, लेकिन आप aware हैं कि किसी और show में उस scene पे बहुत applause मिला था आपको, और यहाँ पे नहीं मिल रहा?
Yeah, it happens.
And it begins to work on you negatively?
It's the horrible thing of doing a play again and again and again. When actually I studied in Glasgow, that's where I trained.
Yeah.
And because I'd done so much theatre before I went, you know, really mid-career. And my professor told me, and he said, you know, do you do a lot of shows in Bombay? So I said, yeah. So he said, you know, there's something where you're almost doing the same thing show after show after show. So tomorrow when you go on, just try and do it as if you've never done it before.
Well, I've never played tell yourself that?
No, it's not. But when you do that, it becomes so much, it's fresh, it's new. That means when you're like, I'm talking to you as a character, I have to get into the state of mind that I've never heard these lines before. Let's say you had to tell me I love you. It has to be that I've never heard this before and I'm hearing it right now for the first time. To do that, of course, show after show after show is not
very
easy.
difficult.
And this is where, you know, like definitely when you're used to, why didn't I get my laugh today? What am I doing wrong? Or you say, dead audience, yeah. You blame it on the audience, you know. It does happen, of course it happens.
So,
but you just try and work what we call the fourth wall, you know, so that you don't get so influenced by the audience. But what does happen a lot of times, mobile phones go, or sometimes we do supper theatre shows where people are drinking while you're performing, dining.
And even talking to each other.
Or talking to each other, then you can see the waiter coming with kebabs, you know, or children crying, or people coming and walking in and walking out of auditorium. So you have to somehow keep your focus so strong, but you're still aware. Part of your brain is always aware that all this is happening. Or like if you're in a small theatre like Prithvi and वो second row में बेचारा सो गया है, क्या करे? You know, all that is going on in your head while you're performing.
Achha, you know, after all these years now, and of course we talk about your, you know, experience in the Scottish Royal Academy of Music and Dance. What do you understand of good acting today? And how different is it from, you know, how you understood it when you began?
Well, when I began, obviously, you know, you're just absorbing, you're just learning. And I'm from a theatre family, so I've grown up in the theatre. So I've been watching and observing, and it's somehow subconsciously, it's just kind of, it gets collected in you. So I guess now I have much more of a critical eye. And I think what you're looking for in any performance, by experienced actor or non-experienced actor, is that element of surprise. Okay, wow, I would not have known that this character could be played that way, you know, or just that, you know, or that kind of what we call stage presence. That sometimes you'll come across a young actor that you've never seen before, but your eye never leaves that person, and you think, wow, this actor is blessed with that quality, you know. Or somebody will use their body brilliantly, somebody will use their voice brilliantly. I guess you look for those things, and I guess what I don't like is actors who use tricks.
Yeah.
You know, when the voice modulation goes up and it goes down, and I'm not impressed by all that. I'm not impressed by people who cry. I've found it interesting when I cry watching them.
Does it sadden you that, you know, the generic and a generalized understanding of acting among the audience is also somehow sometimes it veers towards the dramatic?
Melodrama or complete slapstick comedy.
Yeah. I mean,
but that's our audience. That's, you know, that's the way we are, I think, as people. We are very emotional. We're the kind of people who show our emotion. So that's what we like to see.
Have you been tempted to veer towards that sometimes?
No, I can't do it. I just can't. I wish I could. Yeah. I just don't know how to do it.
Royal Scottish Academy of Dance,
Music and
Drama. What did you learn from there, and what are the things you still have kind of, you know, carried along with you?
Yeah, actually I learned a lot. See, I went really late. I went in my mid-30s. So I had already worked, you know, for like 16 years. But I'd always had this desire to study. Always. I couldn't afford it. But there was this chaska in me that I have to study, you know. And I'm so glad I went finally when I did. Because first of all, you know, you have an international faculty. So the faculty is coming in from all over the world. And we were just 12 students.
Yeah.
So it was so focused, so personal. And what I loved is, because it was a master's and you had to constantly write down what you were learning and what was working for you, somehow subconsciously I developed what I consider my own system, which works for me, which since then I've always used.
Right.
So that I'm very thankful for, and also thankful because you got to meet and you know, just be with so many different people, just different experiences, different kinds of approaches to acting. And frankly, a year off. I didn't have to worry about paying my telephone bill and electricity bill, and you know, just like a year to just be.
Okay, when you came back, is it always easy, you know, especially when you study any art, performing art or anything, in a world so different from ours? Yeah. The Western world, their mode of acting, the understanding of cinema is so different from Indian cinema even today.
Yeah.
And when you came back, and of course you have worked in Indian cinema and even theatre, was there a difference first of all, and did you have some sort of a dilemma happening in your head that, okay?
No, you know, the only dilemma actually, frankly, I had was, should I stay there? Should I work there? Because there you can be a theatre professional.
Okay.
And I think if I had gone when I was 21, I would have stayed.
You would have stayed on.
But, you know, now when I've come back and I've seen my classmates who were from there and the way they have to struggle, most of them have quit.
Yeah.
They can't be actors there. Whereas here we have the, you know, absolute luxury to be performers. So I mean, it's frankly much better to be back. But it is frustrating because we don't have systems in place, you know. Even today when a young actor asks me, how do I get into theatre? What do I tell them? There's no system. I say go backstage, talk to the director, kuch hoga to hoga. There's no auditioning system. Whether it's in, you know, in film or in theatre. It's just not professionally run the way it is internationally. I mean, it's getting better. With every year it's getting better. Now there are more and more casting directors for movies. But it's still not there, you know. Also, I think in terms of just the quality of work, you know, even when you go abroad to watch plays, you learn so much. Who do I as a performer here look up to? Who do I learn from? It's very, very, very few. I mean, you'll have a Nasiruddin Shah that I can go and I can watch and I can say, I learned something as a performer today.
Yeah.
You know, but there are very, very few.